What's your YouTube? Dave from wargames, bringing you, as requested, a Lair of Darkness DDD deck. Now this is completely made by Joe. He's put this one together. We couldn't get the profile done properly today, so he's allowed me to do it so we can get it out to you guys as soon as we possibly can. Now, the whole synergy between this deck is, there's a couple of level 8 targets in the DDDs that trading works really nice well with. Most of your big DDD boss monsters and fusion monsters are virus targets. They're obviously all dark, so that already helps straight away. And it kind of helps move your plays forward a lot more. You've got the power pulse of DDDs, and then you've got the sustainability and searchability of your Lair of Darkness, and then of course your Darkest Diabolos to help fill the board out. So, without further ado, I'll take you through the deck profile. I have got a little pile of extra cards here that I'll show you that are a couple of alternatives if you want to change it up yourself or personalise it. And I will of course do some combos or test hands for you as well. So, straight away we'll go with the Lair of Darkness cards, and we play 2 Darkest Diabolos. Now this is just for the ability to loop them around. They are a very nice level 8 target as well, and trading is very good to get this to the grave and loop it off from there. So basically, if you've got a Diabolos in grave already and you've got the virus here, but you haven't special summoned this turn, activate a virus, hit this card goes to the graveyard, and then you get to revive this card here. So it's very cool there. We've got triple Lilith. Now this is very powerful because it skips Ash. I did make a mistake in one of my previous videos because I'm so used to cards adding to hand when actually Lilith sets it to the board. So she's very good, searches you out all your viruses that you need. If you play 3 of the same, there's no limitation that they have to be of different names. You can reveal 3, so it does work like Monarchs, which is very powerful. To Harima, this card again is very powerful. It's got a nice combo with Dark Grepher as well, but on top of that, being able to tribute your opponent's monster with the field spell in play and drawing a card is always going to be nice. But then on top of that, Darkest Diabolos actually works like an Astrograph sorcerer in the sense that if you have this card and another dark monster on your side of the field, you tribute that monster, you search out the Darkest Diabolos, and then the Darkest Diabolos special summons itself from hand. So he is very important, and then of course he is one of your searchers for your field spell. I've then got the one Duke Shade. This is good because you get you tribute off your opponent's monster, special summon it, or at least one of them. It's a nice little full force virus target and a crush card virus target, and it can recycle some of your level 5 or higher dark monsters. So again, you can recycle some of your, like if you put any of your DDD higher levels into the graveyard through trading or something like that, or XYZ material, he can help bring them back. I haven't decided if I want to bump him up yet or not. I just need to do a little bit more testing, or through Joe needs to do a little bit more testing whether to bump him up or not, and give that a go. My personal choice that I did have to add to this deck is Caius the Mega Monarch, because he is incredibly powerful, especially under the field spell. Now the reason he's so powerful is you tribute off 2 dark tokens with the field spell in play. He then gets to banish 2 cards and burn for 2k. On top of that, he's a level 8 target for trading, but in addition to that, because the field spell turns all your opponent's monsters into dark, Caius then gets to rip the rest of those cards from your opponent's deck, which is very important and very powerful. So, for example, let's say our opponent has a Majesty Maiden on board. You special summon the Caius. Caius can then banish the Majesty Maiden, and because she's dark, they then lose the rest of those from their deck. Let me just double check this. It doesn't say if it was in the graveyard. So you tribute summon this card by treating 1 tribute summon monster. Not really worried about that. If this card is tribute summoned, target 1 card of the field, banish it, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Then, if it is a dark monster card, which it will be because of the field spell, banish all cards with that name from the hand, main deck, extra deck, and graveyard of the player who controlled it. If this card was tribute summoned by tributing a dark monster, add this additional effect. You can target 2 cards instead. So everything's going to be dark because of the field spell. You're then going to be banishing more cards from your opponent. He's incredibly powerful and incredibly busted. Triple DD Savant Kepler. This is your searcher. Gets you both your fusion spell if you need it, but of course your gate. And your gate then gives you the ability to search any of your other DDs that you want. Triple DD Ragnarok. Of course, his scale effect is incredibly powerful. He fulfills all requirements apart from Eradicator for all of the virus cards, apart from obviously Crush card as well, but he's still very powerful. And then the loop ability, rank 8 as well for trading, and of course rank 8 plays. He just fits the bill perfectly. You've got Triple Lamia for your Synchro plays, to move it that way, and it is of course a Crush card virus target. Triple Swell Slime, again, fusion plays to then boost up into your bigger viruses should you need to. I did have a look because this card actually says If this card is in your hand, you fusion summon 1 DDD fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand as fusion material. Now, if some of the DDD monsters required like a level 8 or higher, or required just a dark level higher, you could start using some of these as well, but unfortunately they don't. They all require at least 2 DDDs. Anyway, we've then got 2 more Savant Thomases. Scale effect is very, very powerful and cool and helps you out massively for your rank 8 plays and virus targets. A level 8 target for trading as well. And then the 1 Necro Slime, because any more can be very, very cloggy. You can get Necro Slime to the graveyard quite easily. He is a crush card target as well, should he be a bad brick in hand. And then you can move him around that way as well. On top of that, he can work off well nicely with Dark Grepher. And again, when I get to the extra cards, I'll show you why. For the spells, we've got triple dot Contract with a Gate. You want to be searching out any of your DDD targets. If you get this, you get Kepler. Kepler gets you your fusion spell. You go off from there and kind of move your plays that way. So this could be very, very powerful and useful. It's a shame you have to kind of play it free. Same with Kepler. If you wanted to lower the consistency, you could drop Kepler down maybe because it requires your normal summon. But you really do want your Contract because then you get your fusion plays going. So even if you open up with a majority of the DDD engine, as long as you've got the ability to get Swell or Swell to hand, which you get from Kepler into Gate or Gate into Swell, you can then banish your Swell and get a fusion monster on board. And as long as you've got one of the required viruses, you can do that. Or of course you get your Lilith, and Lilith searches out your viruses. Triple trading, because we've got in total 5, 6, 7, 8 targets for trading, and all of those targets don't mind being in the graveyard because you have the ability to either recycle them, or if you trade in your Diabolos, you have the ability to bring him back later in the game as well. So trading could actually be very, very useful. I've chosen to go with trading instead of a lore. You can put a lore in this deck. I just kind of had to, when I was looking at the space of the deck, it was either trading or a lore, and I think trading in this version is better. Double Layer of Darkness and 1 Terraforming. Now, Terraforming is kind of questionable at 2 because at 1 because you've only got 2 layers, but it's just for those times when maybe you want to normal summon your armor and you have the Terraforming in hand. I would rather you Terraforming, or I would rather Terraforming for the Layer of Darkness and then use the Arama's effect for the draws and the searching as well. But you want to be getting to your field spell as early as possible, which way you play free Arama. The space is so tight, which is why we haven't got more Terraforming and a 3rd layer. So you still want the ability to deck fin as well. And this is kind of a nice ratio that works for me personally. Then we've got a couple of one-offs for the spells. We've got the 1 at Dark Contract with a Swamp King for your massive fusion plays. The 1 at Foolish Burial. The 1 for 1 because actually getting any of your level high or high level brick monsters out of your hand if you don't open up with trading, and then getting your Lamia to board, again gives you, without using your special summon and without using, clearing out your hand a little bit basically. So 1 from is very, very important. And then for the traps now comes down to you. This is where you personalise them. So in this one, we are running 1 of each of the viruses. The 1 Eradicator, the 1 Crush card, the 1 Deck Devi, the 1 Full Force, and the 1 Grinning. Now, obviously you can only run 1 Epidemic Eradicator, but it is incredibly powerful. So that, to me, is a must play, especially when you've got any of your DDD fusions, apart from Genghis, meet the requirements, and then obviously your Diabolos, and like I said, you can loot the Diabolos round. Crush card, what people keep forgetting is the tokens are 1000 attack. So Crush card is a perfect choice for those. It lets you loop it around a little bit more and very, very powerful. And then of course your Lilith with his normal summoners again, and your Duke Shade can also help that out. On top of that, any of your brick DDD monsters, like if you've got a Lamia sitting in defense, Crush card could be very, very useful. Next up, you've got your Deck Devi. Now these are the 2 that I say you can bump between 1s and 2s. So depending on what you think your opponent's playing, you can have the other one in the side and swap them round, stuff like that. So this is 2000 or more attack, which again, a load of your higher level DDDs have, and of course your DDD fusions. Then if you special summon Lilith out as well, she'll be 2k or more. The 2k or more defense is less required in this deck because it's some of your bigger monsters that have the more with the 2k defense. You've got your Duke Shade, of course, and then after that, you're looking into your Diabolos, you're looking into your Savant Thomas, you're looking into your Ragnarok. So you're looking for all your bigger monsters to actually help you out with this one. So this one isn't as consistent in the deck, but it's still incredibly powerful if you use it right. So like I said, if you think your opponent's got loads of 15 or less attacks, I would trade this out for 2 Deck Devi. If you think they've got more attack but less defense, I'd put in 2 Full Force and focus around him a bit more. And then we've got the 1 Grinning Grave Virus. Again, this could be bumped up to 2. This is just a nice kind of clearance. Again, what you've got to be worried about is what your opponent's playing. Yes, their graveyard cards, the fact that it send cards is also quite helpful as well. The fact that it doesn't let their effects activate this turn is quite nice because it stops trigger effects, but what you've got to be very, very careful of is if they want their cards in the graveyard for like a later purpose. So for example, against ABC, this would be a bad choice because they just go, cool, send ABC and another ABC, and I'm going to make 2 Buster Dragons on you next turn because I can't use them now, but I'll use them in the next turn. So you've got to be very, very careful. So again, between the 3 of these need to be personalised to what you think you're going to be facing during the tournament, or of course, your personal playing style. But they are all very relevant and all searchable. Now, the reason, there are obviously other cards you can put in this, like your Torrential Tributes, your Back to the Fronts. They are in the pile of alternate cards, which I'll get to now actually before we go to the extra deck, just so it kind of makes sense. So these are the alternate cards that I reckon you could play in if you wanted to. Dark Grepher, this unbricks your hands, puts Necroslines to graveyard should you need it, dumps your Diabolos from deck to grave, and it also combos off very, very nicely with the Haraman. So what you would do is you would special summon your Grepher by pitching a dark card. Let's say, for worst sake, or best case scenario, you ditch this to the graveyard. Without searching the field spell, you would normal summon this guy. This guy would then use his effect to tribute off the Grepher, and then you would get 1 draw, and then your Diabolos would come back. Your other alternative, with this kind of same scenario, if you don't have Diabolos in your hand, is even if he's in deck, you use Arama's effect, tribute off the Grepher, search out your Diabolos, and because it works like Astrograph, you would then get to special summon your Diabolos, and if you've got any of the viruses down, he's going to be a target for all of them, and work it that way, apart from Crush Card. So that's why Dark Grepher is a good option for the deck. Alternatively, you've got your Tour Guide for your rank 3 plays if you want to follow that way. Levier is probably the best rank 3 one to use as an option, and then of course I would say put a Laws in if you're going to go down that route. For your normal traps that you can search, you've got your Storming Mirror Force, you've got your Back to the Front, you've got your Mirror Force, and then you've got your Torrential Tribute. These are probably the 4 top of the chain ones that I would recommend, but they are nice little options for you. Now one that I like, that I actually looked at, is the Dark Contractor Witch. It's a shame it's not a normal trap. But the reason this works so well is you can unclog any of your bad DDDs in hand that you no longer want or have used up to clear one of your opponent's cards. Then during your opponent's turn, all Fiend monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. That then means your Lilith either goes up to a 3k, which means it is a target for all for Eradicator, or it goes up to 2k and then again it puts it into a deck devy kind of area. On top of that, any of your other cards like your Arama, apart from your Diabolos, that would be busted going up to 4k. But your Duke Shade then goes up if you want it to, your Caius and Mega Monarch goes up if you want it to. They either become bigger beat sticks or they become bigger targets for your viruses. So Witch could actually be a very, very good tech choice if you wanted to. And again, it's searchable with Kepler. Enemy Controller, because under the field spell, you target one, you get to tribute 1 monster. So you tribute one of your opponent's monsters and then take control of another. So you can clear 2 monsters off. The reason this didn't make the cut was because there was a couple of times where it was like, my opponent needs to have 2 monsters and I need to have the field spell and they need to not see this coming. It's still a very, very good card, definitely in the side deck, if not the main deck. And then we've got the one Breaksword. Because Breaksword is a dark, because his attributes are 2k attack, you can use his effect, clear off 1 card you don't want and 1 card your opponent's controls, like a back row or something. Then you can activate a virus, getting rid of him, and moving your place forward that way. So these are just a couple of optional cards that you can put in if you want to and play around with. I've also seen people try like a Pot Duality in the deck as well. Not this version with the DDDs, but if you wanted to go more dark natural, you can try Pot Duality because you don't special summon as much. You can do it during your opponent's turn, or you can play like Card of the Demise as well to get your Diaboloses out of hand to graveyard and use them back from there. Anyway, moving on to the extra deck. So for our Link monsters, we'll go through those first. We've got the one Master King Archfiend. Again, in this deck, because it only requires 2 Fiends, is like a generic Link 2 for the deck. Got the one Heavy Metaphors Electromite. Not as consistent in this build, but it does give you an option to play around with it. If you don't want this in here, you can put in Proxy Dragon or something like that, or a Saruja. We've got the one Link Spider because of the tokens. This can always help. Not massively, but it just clears out a token, puts you up a level, and then move it that way. And then again, it replaces itself as a Crush Card virus target anyway. The one Borrelo Dragon, incredibly powerful Link card. This could be a Firewall or Saruja if you wanted to swap them out down to personal preference. For Synchros, we play the one Odd Eyes Meteor Burst because it can actually help get you your scales out. And then obviously it's an Armades, which is really, really good. DDD Gust King Alexander is your stepping stone to get into your DDD Cursed King Siegfried, and of course can revive your lower DDDs to get into Siegfried. And as you look at, even though it's wind under the field spell, these are all targets for your higher cost viruses. Then moving on to the XYZs, and then we'll move on to the fusions. So the XYZs, we've got the DDD Duo King Kali-Yuga. This is obviously more specific because it requires 2 level 8 DDDs, but wiping your opponent's back row, negging their effects is always good, and a 3500 beta is always going to be boss. Number 38, Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. Again, negging your opponent's spells, ripping, adding materials to it, and just being able to redirect attacks is always going to be useful. And then the one rank 8 that I highly recommend is the Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis, because once per turn you detach 1 material from this card, attribute any number of monsters from your hand and or your side of the field, minimum 1, then destroy an equal number of cards on the field. Now, you can tribute off your opponent's monsters, which is really funny. So you can tribute off 1. If you detach Diabolos with this, let's say you tribute one of your opponent's monsters, you tribute 1 from your field, you then get to pop 2 cards on your opponent's side. You can then revive the Diabolos. So you've just turned a single 3k into 2 3ks and cleared your opponent's board. So very, very useful in this deck. And then the fusions, no surprise, are all DDDs. You've got the 2 DDD Flame High King Genghis, or Flame King Genghis. The 1 Oracle Arc. This is obviously a nice target for all of your viruses, apart from Crush card. Same with King Beowulf. This can obviously, if you're in danger, clear your back row if you're going to burn out of life points, but the Arc can obviously help you restock some of those. And then finally, you don't have to play this one, but I like this. He's a very nice out to stuff like Borrelo Dragon and that, and he's a 3200 beta. So, you know, this is a bit more specific because of its requirements. You do need the spell and then 2 triple Ds, but he is still incredibly powerful. But the extra deck can come down to personal preference. You can change this up as much as you want to and kind of work it that way for yourself to whatever fits your personal preferred playing style. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but it is, like I said, a very, very meaty deck profile with a lot going on. So I hope this helps. I hope this has given you a couple of ideas on your own version. If you want to be mixing DDDs with it, it is quite simple to do so. It's just getting the balance right is kind of the issue. But if you find it correctly or match it to your play style that you want, there's no reason why the two deck engines can't synergize together. So it can be very, very powerful and useful, and the viruses can rip a lot from you against your opponent. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. I will bring you test stands for this video to show you the consistency and the different kind of plays you can make with it. But I hope this gives you a couple of ideas. I hope you can move forward with it, and I hope you enjoyed it. So big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos like this. We do have more coming out this week. Of course, we've got Flames of Destruction, which is in 2 weeks' time, I believe. We've got an Infernoid version coming up on Wednesday. We've also got a Malefic version that Joe put together for us, which looks really, really fun and cool as a bit of a nostalgia play. And then on top of that, I am trying to get hold of a Zexal Ignite build for you guys as well, because that is still very, very relevant and powerful in this meta. It could be a nice little rogue underscore deck if it can get its board off first turn. And then just go wild from there. So if you do have any requests, then please put them in the comments below and we'll see what we can do for you. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as always, happy dueling. Also, YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.